Hey, Invigorate friends. Chris and I have a fun spin for today's episode. We all know we need to exercise and move more, but what's actually necessary to maintain our health? We'll answer that with fun facts and discuss ways to incorporate activity into our days, even when we're not feeling the greatest. Chris, glad to have you here, and I'm excited to hear your commentary on some of these fun facts.
But yeah, no, I'm excited to be here with you, Karen, and yeah, let's share these facts. I can't wait to dive in.
Yes, I know I need to work out and move more, but how much is absolutely necessary? Before we get to that, it'd be fun to share with where we're actually coming in on average about how much we're working out and physically moving.
Oof. I feel like these numbers are about to be brutal.
Maybe the average adult spends 3 hours and 9 minutes going to the bathroom on any given week, which I've never thought about that figure before, which is also just kind of disturbing in itself.
That is.
Yeah, but then even more disturbing is under half of that, around 1 hour and 30 minutes, people are physically active during that same period in a given week.
Yeah, I want to know what these are like pre-smartphone numbers. You know what I mean? Like were people in there like the giant magazines like prior to just like 3 hours in the bathroom? The smartphone makes it easier to be in there for 3 hours a week.
I didn't actually include this stat, but I have heard that public bathroom wait times are increasing because more people are on their phones.
See, the public bathroom and the phone combo, I can't do, Karen. I can't do that. That's a bridge too far. You're home, those are your germs. But the public bathroom, this is too much of a buffet of germs. I can't do that. I can't do that.
I wholeheartedly agree. Ideally, you want to be above that 3 hour mark, but you don't need to go all in. The good news is little of 10 minutes of rigorous exercise a day can have dramatic improvements on your health.
That's amazing. That's not a long time.
No. So they're saying you really need to do like high intensity interval training, like the HIIT
Mm-hmm.
workouts. I know
Mm-hmm.
that freaks some people out, but I do low impact versions. I definitely am sweating and it's a challenging workout, but it's not
Right.
as hard on my joints like running or the regular HIIT workouts.
Yeah. Something I like about the Apple Watch put me on to use like Apple Fitness. And with their HIIT workouts, all of their workouts, they always have a person who's doing the modified version of it. So that has been like a saving grace for those times I feel like great and I want to start out like doing what everyone else is doing. But once I get super tired or like I'm just like, let me fall back to what our modified low resistance person is doing in the background. And that's helped me at least.
Yeah, I found that when you have a specific program or someone to follow with the low impact side, it's a bit easier, especially in the beginning, than just trying to make modifications on your own. They were even saying, like, just getting into the regular habit of rather than going to the coffee maker in between meetings, maybe you do some lunges or squats or push ups, but I haven't quite gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to drop and do 10 push-ups now. So working on incorporating that.
I have it on my calendar. Like I said it probably like a year and a half ago. Each day, like today I do squats, today I do push-ups, today I do a plank. But what it's become, Karen, is just a reminder of how I'm not doing that between meetings. Like I have the structure. I'm like, oh, my phone's going off. That's the time I would be doing a push-up, but here we are, not doing a push-up. You know what I mean? So you can have the structure, but you got to do it too. You got to do it.
Well, I feel that because I had a goal of getting outside and walking every single day, and it's just not happening.
Yeah. It's really hard to interrupt and break the rhythms of, a lot of us get like a hyper focus when we're working or, like you just like, I just want to finish this task. And it's easy for us to let the day get away from us. So I think what's helped me, honestly, is trying to work out in the beginning of the day and the end of the day. So like today, I started with like a core workout for 10 minutes and then I'm going to go to the gym this evening. But if I try to like squeeze it into the middle of all the madness of the day, I always fail, it feels.
That consistent time to your point, and I have the space carved out so I'm not letting people interrupt it or things get in the way of it.
Yeah, absolutely. Protect the time.
Yeah, yeah. But so then my next step is protecting those 10-minute windows where I want to go for a walk or incorporate a little bit more activity that's just not happening at this
Yeah.
point.
And even think about like what would those 10 minutes of outside activity look like in the winter months? Like it's going to be even more difficult to say I'm going to go outside when it's like the high is 5 degrees. You know what I mean? Like these are the things that we have to sort of like account for and adjust. It makes me wonder how much workouts can be seasonal. You know, like you can do that 10 minutes outdoor time when it's pleasant outside, but when it's, you know, a rainy day, and even in like August, how can you adjust to it so we don't just give ourselves an easy out of like, oh, I was gonna go outside, but then it started raining or it's cold today or whatever the case is, you know. Give ourselves options.
The beefs or challenges with the 30-day challenges or any type of challenge. I really dislike how restrictive, especially with autoimmune diseases. I always like the flexibility to have a day if you're just not up for it or
Yeah.
adjust to your circumstances.
It's so hard to be gracious to yourself when you're working out with the autoimmune disease because the culture of working out is like no excuses, no pain, no gain, which for us is foolish, right? Like we have not an excuse, a very valid reason. Even if you plan to work out today, if you wake up and your body is suffering from fatigue, that's not the time to say, I'm going to push through a workout. That our bodies don't work that way. We can do damage to ourselves. If you're doing an exercise, this happened to me last week, Karin, where I was in the gym, like, you know, mid lat press, and I was like, oh, that doesn't feel right at all. And I gently put it down and I went home. I was not done, but I was done. You know, like, what are we supposed to do? We can't afford to push through it because that's going to make it so much worse.
Yeah, and I've experienced it myself, and there's research on it that we can exacerbate our symptoms when we push too hard because our
Mm-hmm.
bodies are already stressed and you're adding that extra stress on top of it.
It's precise. That's
But you
really it.
bring up not every day you are going to be able to be doing bench presses or intense weightlifting or hit workouts. On those days, maybe all you can do is just a little bit of stretching. We can stay consistent if we have that flexibility and the mindset that it's really not going to look the same every day.
Of course. Of course. Yeah, it just seems to be far more helpful. And not just in terms of like wanting to have nice words, but I've been thinking a lot about the way that our mindset affects our overall health. So if we're beating ourselves up and we're like holding ourselves to an impossible standard for our situation, then it's not only just being unkind to yourself, but you're putting yourself in this place of just like feeling defeated. And that can kind of bleed into other aspects of it. But if you take on what you're saying, which is, you know, okay, I'm going to do dynamic stretching today. So even if I feel miserable, if I do this thing that otherwise seems small, I'm still getting a win today. And I think there's a way that you should try to accumulate those wins until you actually do feel better and feel progress happening.
Those small wins are everything, especially in
Everything.
the phases where the little movements are extra difficult.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like we cannot discredit those small wins. They're crucial.
Another area that impacts our daily movement, but I don't know about it, is this term called non-exercise activity thermogenesis. The
Yeah, yeah.
acronym is NEAT, like neat and
Yes.
tidy.
I've heard of it recently, and I promise you, this episode is not sponsored by Apple Watches, but I feel like that's what put me onto all of because, for example, on Sunday I'm preaching, and by the time I sat down, I closed my exercise ring, and like what I saw is like it kind of tracks like when you're burning calories. So like at 11 a.m., like my calorie burning just like went up because I guess like I got so worked up in the sermon and the gesturing and all the movements just was like burning calories. So I was like, this is my workout on Sunday now. I'm just going to preach. I don't have to go to the gym on Sunday. I'm just going to go up and talk about God. And that somehow burns calories.
We're in here is about habit stacking. So that's a
That's right.
prime example of you getting your steps in while you're preaching and doing your thing. And you're not thinking about it. That's the best
No,
part.
right, right.
Plus,
It was
that's
pretty
such a
amazing.
good feeling when you see that circle
Mm.
complete.
It's talk about small wins. I'm like, yes, give me that green circle.
Neat is inclusive of any physical activity that we're not purposely exercising. That can be preaching, doing yard work. For me, I was cleaning a lot. And by the time I was done cleaning, I was exhausted.
Absolutely.
I'm not doing anymore because I wasn't even working out. I'm so tired.
That's it. You've done your workout. You cleaned up. Like that was the
Yeah.
workout.
Neat actually has more of an influence on your health and weight management than how much you're actually working out. You're probably working out an hour a day, and that's on
Right.
the high end, but
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
how much you're moving for the rest of the hours that you're awake, I can see how that makes such a big difference.
hmm and you also think about the ways that, humans evolved over time. Like before we got, gyms and workout clubs and running clubs and all these things, you were working the land, you were doing whatever chore you had to do to survive. Like that was burning calories. If you like have to go
Yeah.
like hunt for fish, or if you have to plant your garden or whatever it was, you're gathering children, whatever the activity was, you were burning calories. There's no doubt about it. So, and all of the activities that we're doing in the gym are hopefully translating to like real life movements, right? Like you're doing things in the gym that will actually help you with your regular life. So yeah, it just makes sense to me why neat is pretty neat.
But so much of this stuff goes back to our ancestors and what they did 1,000 years ago. They were
Right.
walking, so we need to be
Everywhere.
walking.
Yeah. Everywhere. There was no like, oh, I'm gonna just get in the chariot, take the chariot to the mailbox, and then take the chariot back. Like that wasn't happening. You know?
Right. Walking while looking at nature provides those meditative benefits. It came up with habit stacking, walking outside, getting mindfulness at the same time. Even daily meditation can provide as much benefit as 1 week long vacation.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
crazy how powerful something as simple as that can be.
Right. Something so minor, but can have such a huge benefit and such a lasting impact. I like that. I really like the notion of meditation, because to hear this, that it has the same impact as a week-long getaway. I mean, that to me, especially in our culture where there's so many bells and whistles going off in our lives all the time, to sort of start the day or end the day or break up the day with meditation feels like it's just such a healthy thing for us, that we need to really, normalize it and make sure that it's happening on a regular basis, not just something we do once in a while or something that those people over there do. It should be something that we all incorporate into our rhythms.
They've found that even taking the 5-10 minutes does wonders, a level setting and getting my mindset for what's next, not feeling like I'm bouncing from thing to thing.
That's it. That's it. Yeah, just because there's so much that kind of lives under the surface that can wear us down and wear us out. We need to have those practices that are restorative, that allow us to last and to withstand all the things that are happening at the same time.
All of this can feel like a lot to do at once. Breaking it up into those smaller chunks makes it
Yes.
manageable than trying to do these big activities all at once.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And that makes the convenience aspect, an ally. Because I think a lot of times when we talk about exercise, people have the image of like getting up at 4 a.m. The sun isn't even up yet, but they're driving, you know, 10, 15 minutes in their car to their gym. And it doesn't sound great. It sounds like a lot of labor. Maybe you're listening to this and like, that's what I do. Like, more power to you. I did that for like 4 months and I stopped. Like, I was like, I can't do this anymore. It's like, I need the gym to be like right here. And so I started doing workouts at home, and and going to a closer gym. But there's really a sense of so many things we can use to tell us why we can't have an active or healthy lifestyle like what we're talking about today. And I hope for everyone listening and watching, you get a sense of you can start right now. Like it's not as difficult as we've been led to believe it is.
Easier you can make it, the more likely you're going to do it.
No question. No question. There it
So
is.
there's some other behaviors we don't even think about that affect how we feel. And one term, text neck. It's
Ooh, that sounds
referring
terrible.
to straining your neck from constantly looking down at your phone or
Mm,
laptop.
yeah. That made me just go like this, just hearing about that. Because I even have tried sometimes to be like more like elegant in it. I'm just like, I'm gonna look at my phone, just try to like find way because it's so easy to kind of just do this thing. And yeah, I can't imagine the like long-term damage to your neck. Makes me want to call the chiropractor right now.
Right? One of the tips is hold your phone up like this. Not gonna happen. Maybe the answer is getting in the habit of not checking it so frequently.
I was trying to see like what motion if you hold your arm up. I was like, is that my tricep? I feel like it's good for the tricep if I hold my phone up. I was like, I'll just be really shredded, like triceps popping because I'm on the phone so much.
We talk about habit stacking. There you go.
Yeah, exactly it. Exactly it. But how do we get to the point of checking the phone less frequently? Because we're really in this culture now where everyone acts like they have the red phone in the White House. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I gotta answer this right now. It's too much. And it's not just phone calls, right? It's like the smallest thing. It's text messages, it's social media notifications, email, like all these different ways that we can be reached. And we don't want to just, be inaccessible. So how do we find a happy medium?
The answer's not easy, but we've talked before about being intentional with our time. Protect your time, right? My workout time is my workout time. No one's messing with that. I've started to try and do at night for a couple hours, my family time. I just put my phone away.
Right. That seems incredible. Like a turn off your phone, not just put it on silent. That it's like an act of bravery. It just seems so. It just seems so amazing to me. You know,
Yeah.
I'm clearly not there yet. Is what I'm saying. Like I'm not there yet.
Well, I don't think many of us are, but it's important to at least recognize that. So now that we're aware of it, maybe I'm not constantly grab it, or I try to put it away for a little bit longer, or they're just going to have to figure out some stuff to help our neck.
Skip like the little airport pillow
We're all in
wrapped
neck
around
braces,
the neck. We're all in neck braces. This is my phone brace.
right?
Goodness.
Chris, has your workout regimen evolved from when you first were diagnosed to where you're at now?
I feel like when I was first diagnosed, I thought I knew how to work out, and I really didn't. I think I was just kind of just like playing with the different machines in the gym. I got just like, I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna run on the treadmill. I'm gonna sit on the bike. And just like I didn't know what I was doing, you know. But it's made me, obviously have to research like a low impact workout that are beneficial. One of my favorite things in the world, and unfortunately, my rowing machine is in the storage unit, so I haven't used it in quite a while. But I love the rowing machine. I think it's the perfect workout for us. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't have to exhaust you, but it absolutely works every part of your body, and it's endurance. You can use it for speed. You can use it to say like I want to, be on this machine for an hour. You can say I'm just gonna go super fast for 10 minutes, and it's really a perfect low resistance workout in my opinion. I can't say enough good things about the rowing machine, but really a lot of what we've talked about has been a part of my journey. This whole sense of being kind to yourself to say like I need to use today as a rest day, and not trying to overdo it, relearning, disabusing myself of that whole, you know, maximize, like, like I was taught working out to sort of like, do like the max amount of reps. And now I know that doesn't make any sense. And so just learning how to do isometrics, like really focusing on body parts and really focusing on, okay, this is what my goal is. What do I need to do to accomplish that goal? It's made a world of difference.
Yeah, the rowing machine for sure. Anytime you can get resistance and endurance, Pilates is a lot like that too. I started out as a runner and that's all I did was I ran every day. But over time, that's just not feasible. And it's so hard on your joints.
Yes, it is. Beats you up.
It really does. My goal is to work out on average 6 days a week. And you have to have variety. Navigating these symptoms and working out is that balance of doing Pilates one day, doing the bike another day, and then incorporating actual mobility. Like I lost so much range of motion for those years where I was so tight from joint pain. It's easy to get hung up on time and numbers, but whatever you can do where you're at is going to be the most beneficial.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And not trying to compare a lot of the things that are in normal like fitness culture don't serve the autoimmune community well. And so, being really like comparative or like competitive and always trying to see like what's the next edge you can get on someone, like no, really listen to how your body is responding to these workouts. And that's how I found out about the rowing machine, because I was looking at it and I was like, what does this even do? And now like I started to work with it and I was like, oh, I love how my body feels after. Like I did not feel like I had gotten beat with a bag of rocks after working out on the rowing machine. And we just have to pay attention to those sorts of things.
Remember one time, yoga's normally pretty friendly with my surgeries and don't look like a regular yoga person. Let's just put it
Yeah,
that
I
way.
got you. I got you.
So I went to a class one time and the instructor was like, didn't know that I had had all these joint
Right.
replacements and just came over and was like, what are you doing? You're supposed to be like, she was trying to help me, but it was just such a poor experience.
Yeah.
I told her what was going on. We moved on. It was totally fine, but it made me think twice about going to another live yoga class.
Yeah, understandable. Understandable. And, I always wonder, like, because it's just like a part of the journey in general, where people will say things not knowing what we're going through. And then, like, for me, I've often felt bad telling them exactly what it is. Like, oh, I have lupus, because then I'll feel like they're going to feel like a terrible human being. But I've had friends be like, no, they should feel terrible. They need to, like, learn how to talk to people. So I don't know how to navigate that necessarily.
I feel that in that moment, I didn't go into the whole spiel, but I was just like, I've had joint replacements. I don't move normal. I think she did feel bad, but it's a good thing for all of us to remember is that we don't know what other people are going through. So to be so forthright sometimes isn't always the best approach. But that's how I discovered I started working out at home. I was like, great, I can look like a complete idiot in the comfort of my own home. It doesn't matter.
It's a safe space. It's a safe space.
Totally. We've talked about a number of different ways that we can help ourselves throughout our day without going all in on working out if we're not up for it. But we both talked about things that we want to start doing more, but that we haven't quite been able to tackle. So I would like us and our community members to pick one or two things to strive for.
Here.
I want to stretch more and work on my mobility. So my one goal is to stretch daily.
Absolutely. Yeah, I know for me, I want to focus on core exercises. And so that's what I was doing the 10 minutes today. Well, it was 10 minutes of core exercises at home. So in my living room, there's no excuse. I can't get started because it's right there. But yeah, I want to do that all throughout September. Just do 10 minutes of core every day.
And your core is just essential to your whole body. Is that one of the reasons you decided to focus on it?
I will tell you this, and for anyone who appreciates it, all of my workouts are geared toward the 90-year-old version of me. I am thinking about being 90 years old and the sort of mobility I would like to have then. Yeah,
I love that. It's one of the reasons why I'm wanting to work on my range of motion, because I don't want to be a hunched over little old lady. I'm going to gain some of this flexibility back.
that's it. That's it. I hear that.
Well, Chris, as always, thanks for your vulnerability and being so
Yeah,
authentic in these conversations.
yeah, so it's always a joy.
To our Invigorate community, drop us a comment with what you're working on. Thank you and take care.
Take care, y'all.